Yep. So that's all the trillion things that we have going on with LCSW Vibes that you guys probably had no idea of, and you're just
that one.
Taja, getting back to why we're here today, because I know you have to get to your meetings. I'm just going to show you the two platforms that people are using in the updated course and the coach's dashboard that I created. It was my first, literally the dashboard for you guys was the first one that I created in using Manus. And I did that like months ago and I never showed it to you guys, and you guys have been using it. So I've just been paying for a site that's not being used. And I was like, let me show them. Because I knew it was one of those things, if I sent it to you in an email, y'all gonna be like, what is this? Or how do I use it? So I was like, let me just wait and show you guys together. Before I pull that up, just for time's sake, because I pulled that another link. So it would be different tracks. So like a LMSW versus, an LCSW, they'll pick when they purchase, they'll pick it. Like if they're doing the LMSW or they're doing the LCSW. It is broken up because the 3 domains is changing. I don't know if you guys know that, instead of 4. Yeah. And these are the 3. And they already have the guidance on what it looks like. So say, for instance, I'm in the test in my site. So obviously you can see all of it. But if somebody just purchased that one, they'll just have this. So the same videos with the audio, the visual that I've had, content is content. So I didn't alleviate any of that. I just added the stuff that they have in there. So like values and ethics is the section. If we go there at the bottom, you'll see where it says neurodiversity. And I had never even heard of MMIW. That's, you know what that is? In marginalized communities. Let me see. I forgot what it was. It stands for like missing and murdered Indigenous women is something that they're focusing in marginalized communities. So this is not final yet because I'm giving myself still some things, and my assistant is going through each and every module, which is probably going to take over a week. Her and I both are doing it, but this is pretty much what it is going to be, more fancied in here, like graphs and stuff. And then at the end, it'll automatically have a quiz based on what they did, but it'll be, formatted like that where they can do the quiz. But this is pretty much how it would look. I'm trying to see the ethics one. Technology and AI and ethics. That's a new one that's on the exam. So it'll have some information in there on that. Assessment and planning, the new sections, psychopharmacology basics. So I don't know if it's updated in there yet. And then I also, because I can't go through like I did the original course and talk, so use AI to psychopharmacology. So it does have my voice. And if they want to hear it, they can use that part. If not, they can, this would be in a better format though. Right now you're just seeing the words, but it'll show up more like a slide. It's already done like that. And some of them, I just can't find the one now. So that's why I'm just kind of going through it. But the older stuff, you guys already know, it looks the same in here. And then I have it separated into the first part, then it's content, strategy, and mindset. Is kind of broken up in those 3 things. So they can kind of focus on it in that way when they go to certain areas. Of course, playing around with the, like the links and the colors and all that kind of stuff. We still, play around with that. How we had the state self-assessment station that had like the 10 questions, 5 questions, all these PDFs in the course. So they're pretty much the same thing. They're just added in here. And then we have the 122 question, because remember it changed. It's 122 and 110 is scored. So I don't know if the test question is going to be easier, harder, what it's going to be. I just can't see them reducing that amount and making them easier. I think it's going to really cause, have them think through things, more reasoning and more analytical skills, really putting those critical thinking skills to work. Surprisingly, a lot of people are waiting to take the test. In what I likely do, I know you guys don't have time to be like going through the course and stuff, but what I do is I step away from it for a while and then I'll go back, and then I'm looking at it now and I see like 5 things that I want to change. So I'm just taking my time and like kind of going through it, making sure the content is in there and that work. It does have the flashcards, which look a little different than according to the DSM, and then they can do flashcards and stuff. They have to rate it at the end whether that was hard, medium. So if I say that was medium, cool, they'll give me another one. Do the question, I might say that was hard, cool, they'll give me another one, and you just rate like how you feel you did on the cards, and that lets them know like if they need to keep giving them, showing them again or what it may be. So that is the course one. The actual Prep Plus, this is the one that everybody in the community, you see them using. This is probably my fave. So this one right here, pretty much just another way of learning, making it more easy, more simplified, more fun, more engaging, where you're not just sitting there reading content courses. So it's like a combination of the chatbot, very similar to Pocket Prep and their question styles, all the apps and stuff that people purchase to do questions and inundate with lots of questions. A lot of people have been using this. So say, for instance, you lock in a subscription. So mine says LCSW, but if your LM or LBSW, it's in there too. And you just do like a speed round where you're just answering 10 questions and go back out. You might do, trying to think of the ones that people really like. It does have 3 mock exams in here too. It does have a lot of target areas. So if somebody's really struggling with like diagnosing, or what's everybody's favorite? Research. So say research and program development. These questions are all research and program development based. So if I answer the question, here, and then I submit my answer, it'll give me the rationale and tell me where it's referenced, like where did I get it from? And let me know, can you see, I don't want to be picking on people, but can you guys see that? Like see the rationale reference part?
Yeah, I think the back is a little too dark though.
Okay, this part right here to me is darker for me, so I just wanted to see. Because I had the prep, the premium community test all this out. They're the only ones that had access to it for like a month before I did it, and they gave me tons of feedback, and I mean, they absolutely love it, but they gave me a lot of feedback on things that changed, so we've been like going back behind the scenes, tweaking colors and doing that sort of thing. But to make a long story short, this is pretty much when you see people say they're using Prep Plus or they've been using that, this is pretty much what they're talking about. And it's a leaderboard, so if you go in here, I can see all the people who've been using it and where they are, like rank wise with questions and stuff. This person's answered 1,300, this person's 1,050. So the coaches, like behind the scene, we can look and see how well people have been performing and what is their their accuracy rate and stuff to see, before they test. So it's those things. And then as things pop up, strategy is always a big one, like just tools on what to do, safety first, the FMBM framework, clinical reasoning, key theories, all that stuff. So the goal is pretty much when people come into LCSW Vibes now, the ecosystem is no need to do, because my biggest thing is that everybody does everything. And you guys know that, because before you started prepping, you've tried everything under the sun. So the goal is to have everything in place and just perfect it and make it more quality and really, really where it needs to be, so people can just invest in one thing and work with us until they pass the exam and go from there, versus having to do a whole lot of different stuff. So over here is the AI tutor. So say if I'm answering a question and I'm like, oh, I got that wrong, I don't understand why I got it wrong, I can cut and paste that question. I think I'm going to have it set up a little differently, but I could ask AI over here about the question. Oh, it does work. Okay. I was trying to do that and I didn't know I had connected. I was like, I need to make it connect. But see, it'll, based on that question I got wrong, it'll say, oh, I hear you. It's totally normal to get questions like this wrong. And then it'll kind of break down the question using FMBM and how you use it, what to explore, so you can have it. And it also has the speak feature on here too, so you can listen to it if that works best for you. You can make it larger. And this is the AI tutor part. So before, I still have the AI chatbot by itself, but the goal is for people just to migrate over to this platform and not have to do the chatbot, this, that, everything. So the benefit of being in the premium community, they have access to all of it anyway, so they don't have to do all the the extra stuff. But the chatbot is in there: stats, review, strategy, reasoning. So this one right here is a little different. They would go through a question scenario and they would do it doesn't give you the answer. You just look at like, what's your role for RSVP, what safety issues, what values, what's the process, and kind of breaking it down, because the RSVP is the newer technique. I only have the FMBM and the RSVP, but those, a lot of people seem to really like the RSVP one as well. So that is the Prep Plus in the course that's being kind of invented and updated and stuff behind the scenes.
How do we get access to that? Do we have access to what you're showing us?
Yeah, you do. It's in the community. You guys would do, I don't have the coaching. I have to go in there and give you access so you can go see everything like I'm seeing it. Right now, you would just be able to use it the way the team is using it, as a beta group here. Whenever you're not sure, go right here to the top where it says search, and then I'm gonna put in Prep Plus. See, and it says premium members read first. So you click on that link and then it'll give you access. Go here, press start free trial to break it down. This right here, the assessment portal, is another one that a lot of people have been using. This is assessing their readiness. So it's only for those that are in the premium community. And it's just another way, because so many of them message me or they just stressed, they don't know where they are. And it's hard to do one-to-one. So when I create these tools, it's like, let me just see how you performed on here. Let me see. And I have so many of the students who've done this. I'm able to go in, and if you're doing one-to-ones with someone, give you access where you can look and say, wow, they've been really struggling with ethics, or gosh, they haven't been hitting that 75, 80 range. Everything they've been doing is under 70. I don't think they're ready yet. And it's easier to have that conversation because So they start out with the diagnostic, whether if they're LC, they need to specify it. If not, it's going to stick to LM. And then they have challenge levels, like they do a quiz and it gets more challenging as it goes on. And then they have the 170 at the end, and then they can view their results and stuff. So I had a lot of people take that 170. me, so I have a good gauge on, let me see. I don't know if I have access. So right here, 117 people have taken it. 7 people are borderline, 6 people are not ready, but 144 are showing exam ready. So exam ready, see, it has the names and stuff there, which is good because we can see a few people that we might be getting one-to-ones with. And then you can search the student. So if you're looking for a certain student, you can search them. You can do the diagnostic. So it'd probably be easy for me to give you guys access to this part so you can see it, like the flag questions that are flagged. So this is helpful because I'm using so many different tools. All these have been updated, but I didn't realize I can go here and flush them out. So it was 37 flag questions. Like maybe they're going through the questions and they notice that the answer is right, but the rationale is reading something else, or the rationale's right, but the answer is saying it wrong. And they have the same thing as a rationale, like a glitch. Because, you know, when you use different tools and AI and doing stuff, it's not perfect. So it is some things you have to check. So to make things better, to make sure that I'm perfecting it, I have flag questions on all the stuff. So people can always flag it and I get an alert automatically and I update it pretty much within an hour. So all these are the pending review. They pretty much have been updated. I just haven't flushed it out and said that it's been fixed. So I need to go in there. See, it says 16 fixed, 21 pending. So I need to go in there and double check and then kind of remove it and change it. And then I can change access. Mm-hmm.
So with this, like once you give us access to this and we see someone that's like, you know, say they're like needs support, how do you think about us reaching out to them? You know, some people, you know, are shy or it's like,
yep, that'd be perfect. That'd be good because that's something that's probably needed. When you see this and you see them struggling, they're still testing, is like, ooh, like that. But then, you know, so that makes a lot of sense. So I would definitely do that. The last thing showing you guys boot camp. So I don't know if you guys knew that, but boot camp is all digital now. They get a digital workbook. So this is pretty much boot camp in itself. When I teach it, it's totally different than before. Like if you did boot camp in a day, like it don't have nothing on what it does now. So they get all the question banks, so they can do all the questions that they want. They can take notes. This is all the recording. So every time I do a boot camp, it's uploaded here. They have a password. So if they want to print the book, they can. Like they're not going to hear that and go back and pause and stop it, right? I mean, about it. It's okay. But I've already thought ahead because I've been that, you know, we've all been there. You get test prep like, oh, this really worked for me. Like, oh, girl, I can't afford that. Can you give me a login? No. So let me go ahead and change. And I look in here constantly. I have everything I create. I have a dashboard for me and whoever the coach, you know, you guys can have access to it. So I can see who logged in. If it's a name of someone that didn't register for boot camp, I can kick them out, omit them. So all of those tools are already in there, just being proactive of knowing how things happen and do that. So right here, this is basically when I'm training and teaching in boot camp, this is the student goes to the module. So when I'm going over PHA and going through different things, module 2, this is what they're looking at. So before they wanted my slides, they still don't get the slides, obviously, but they get the meat of the bulk of everything I went over in that section, and then they can answer questions and see if they're struggling. And then they can go here and take their own notes. It literally takes notes in a moment and it saves automatically. Let me delete that on that save. You see what it says last save, the 916. So it constantly saves because when I started it, some people like, I did this and it didn't save. Check. And that's something else that we went in and did. So let me ask you too, do you guys know anything about the analysis, or have you had anybody doing the analysis too? Or like even know what I'm talking about? Or are you like, what? No? All right. So this one I've shown it a million times. This is the last thing I meant to show her. She'll see the recording. But anyways, with this analysis tool, it's pretty much anybody that you do one-to-ones with, I would strongly, most of the time they've done this, but if they haven't, they need to. Like this is definitely something that I'm trying to find the one that doesn't have anybody's names on it. I have a fake one, like a John Doe, in case you're wondering what I'm doing, but it looks like I cannot find my John Doe one. So I'm just going to pull a regular one. All right. And then block out the name. So with this analysis tool, it's pretty much what they do. Everyone in the community, they send me a copy of all their tests. If they've tested 10, 15, 11, however many times they tested, they send a copy of all their uploads, like all the tests that they've taken. They send me a copy of the unofficial score, you know, that right. So they send me a copy of that. And when they send me a copy of it, I upload it into the system and the system gives me a report. Obviously, there's certain things that I'm looking for and it's built. It tells them what to do, like week 6 simulation. So it actually breaks it down to tell her what it should look like to get a 94 point this before that. And it just says most people we recommend this path to what they get and all that stuff.
That's
And it
nice.
tells them what to do, like exam day, apply to RSVP to every question, apply to FMBM. So it really does it, because these are things that nothing keeps me up at night, guys, because I get my sleep. It's just a figure of speech. But these are the things that keep me up at night. You know how people say that this is the thing that keep me up at night, like just on it. So it definitely doesn't keep me up at night. But these are the things when I'm working, is like, what is that missing link? Like, I call this, I'm in the lab and I'm cooking like all day. Like, what is it that I could do? And it's like all these people are testing 15, 20 times. Like, if I knew all the progress. So like, it's amazing to see someone who's tested like 6, 7, 8 times. And I put all those reports in there and they can show the fluctuation or the consistency, like they've been going down or they've been going up. Then they're able to say, okay, what I'm doing is not working. They're able to see it versus now assumptions. But everyone who gets that tool, they're like, oh my God, this is so right. And if you're under 10 points, it's 9 times out of 10, it's a strategy thing. So it's not telling them, hey, you need to invest in this, you need to do that. It's like, you need to lock and load on this area that you didn't do that great in. So if you have the elite course, don't do the whole course. Just go straight to that assessment intervention section, redo that part, do some questions in Prep Plus, and call it a day. Focus on this. Or maybe just, if you do the boot camp, you do that. That's why in boot camp now, I focus the first day on introduction welcome, but it's on strategy. So strategy is about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I do that first, so then they can trickle down and start using the strategy throughout the questions, and then, like I always think of Taja Ray, this is the last thing. I know I showed you guys so much, but hopefully this is still being recorded so Lorena can see it all. The last thing is the playbook. So a lot of people are really struggling. They don't need products. They don't need another course. They don't need anything. They just don't know how to think or how to take the exam. So this is pretty much just a digital book, and it's also a regular PDF book that they can print it out. So no one has really deep dive in it because I'm still looking through it. But basically it's only mindset and strategy edition. That's it. I'm not focused on anything else. It's a low cost. It's like $27. They get it just like this when they log in. It's like a Kindle, but if they want to get the PDF, they can. I just know if I do the PDF, it just float everywhere. Like, we know that.
Yes.
Polished. So if they do the PDF, they got to pay extra to get the PDF version and print it off and send it to your friend. Because I know you're going to print it off and send it to somebody. So at least pay a little bit more.
At least pay me for it. Right. Right.
So then out of the 10 people say, nah, I'm good with looking at it just like this. And I'll screenshot and take a picture. So people are going to be like this. This is what they're going to do. They're going to take a picture of all of it, like on their camera, send it. But I thought about Taja Ray. This is her favorite. Out of the techniques, she loves the priority ladder.
Okay.
And a lot of people are like, what is the priority ladder? So it teaches them the steps. And I do go over it in boot camp, but how to use it on exam day, the golden rule, some common traps, like it's teaching them. There's no content in this book. It's all just strictly strategy and using everything all the helping process, everything. So even for the coaches, this is something that you guys, I have to figure out how to send it to you guys or give y'all a token. But if you go in here, it makes sense when you're coaching somebody. Sometimes they don't need to know more content. You just got to help them understand, how can I help them understand that they're thinking like this? So when I meet with the group today at 12 o'clock, I already sent them the quizzes to do. I need that just to see if you scored over 80. If you're under 80%, then I'm kind of looking like, there's some things going on in your thought process, and I need to make sure you iron that out, because some of these people are testing Monday and Tuesday next week. Oh. And it's kind of too late to change your date, but we need to figure it out, because one of the people scored like in the 70s and it took them like 30 something minutes to take it. And I'm like, me and him, we done had that conversation, overthinking, reading too much into the question. Like, this stuff, bro. You scored in the 70s and it took you 20 minutes longer than everybody else. So those are, to me, still doing the same patterns that we've been talking about since you left boot camp and joined the premium community. We need to iron that out. So that's kind of why I do those assessments, to kind of see. I obviously can't go over it with everyone. I have my own questions, but we're basically going to be going over this stuff. Like when you see a question, micro, meso, macro level, when you see something, assessment before intervention, like we're basically going to be going over this type of stuff when I meet with them today. So that is pretty much, and then the last one is mindset, like what to do, panic versus intuition, like them to define it, like knowing you're not your score, just stuff to keep them motivated and golf. Yep. So that's all the trillion things that we have going on with LCSW Vibes that you guys probably had no idea of, and you're just
that one.
Taja Ray she can attest to that with me. When I was coaching her, she would say something and I'm like, oh no,
like, wait, what did she about?
So you didn't know, like, what is she doing? And I was sitting here like, all right, what did you do, girl? You done did your onboarding for your private practice people. You got them set up. You got their dashboard. I'm going through all of this stuff in my head. And I'm like, you haven't even showed, even today, I done did all of this. And I know you guys have to go. And I did not show y'all the coach's dashboard that I created for you guys to have all of this stuff. And that was the whole beginning of me getting in this zone of trying to figure out what to use and how to do this. It all came from you guys. Like, it's a disconnect. I'm like, I gotta be able to communicate with them. I gotta be able to, let them know what's going on and address this. And they're coaching people, so they gotta know how to do this. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Someone came to me in like one of the sessions. They're like, "Oh, you know about RSVP?" I'm like, "RSVP what?" I'm like, "What are you doing?"
I saw it posted somewhere, but I'm like, I don't know what it means.
Right.
That is crazy. It's sad. It's funny and crazy. And it was somebody else. I would tell her, that is horrible, girl. How are you doing that? So this is it. So this is the dashboard I created. Literally, when I first started creating all this stuff and getting to these tools, it was like the dashboard for the coaches. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I don't want them sending me these spreadsheets. I want them doing their hours here, like logging their hours in, the rates, like what they want here. I'm like, I want them to message me if they got questions. I want them to see the performance of the people who they're coaching. I have a question bank in here for you guys, but like, you can share your screen and ask them, like you're doing a session with someone, you can say, okay, you know what, let me, a client recently prescribed for SSRI. You can ask them that and then go over the answers and the rationales and stuff. So you guys are not like sharing your screen and doing some old crazy stuff. Like, you can actually do all of this. So like, say if you click here, this is practice. And you can send them like a starter practice assessment with them. And you can kind of go through the questions. The answers are right there. They answer confidentiality. You can check the answer and then go over it with them. So it's kind of like they don't have access to it, but you can use this to go through questions and kind of do those things. Like, I was like, wait a minute, this has just been sitting here? Nice. Like, that's what I told myself. Like, you got to slow down to speed up. Why didn't you like do this? Give them this already. So look at that. All case studies on even myself, when I meet with people, I'm like, you have a whole portal that has the coaches, the new course format. If they purchase it at the $99 special, they purchase it at the $149 it is now. Before it increases, that's why I'm telling people, get in now, because when it increases, I'm not going to say, oh, now you got to pay extra. Right. Platform is like, you already invested. We've made the enhancement. You were smart to invest early. Now you automatically have access to this new platform. So every boot camp, I have at least 10 to 20 slots that are pro bono, where people who just can't afford or people who have tested and just haven't got their win. So definitely do that. And when I go to YouTube, I'm telling you every day, at least 5 to 6, like, it's overwhelming how many people, and they tell me what works. They're like, the FMBM all day. I did the boot camp once and I took the test and passed on my first shot. So I know what everybody's different, but I know what we're doing works. That person is coming in. We just got to help them identify what's going to work for them, or give them the opportunity to take some time to identify what's going to work for them. That's the key. Everything works. We all, every day we eat, but we eat different stuff, and we're surviving, so we just know kind of what we need. So I think that's the same thing when it comes to this. They'll get it.